In the heart of the galaxy, where the most powerful beings from countless worlds convened, the Galactic Council Chamber was a place of awe and authority. The chamber, a masterpiece of alien architecture, boasted towering columns of luminescent crystals and walls adorned with holographic tapestries depicting the rise of interstellar civilizations. The air hummed with the soft whisper of ancient advanced technologies, and the council members, an eclectic assembly of the galaxy's most influential species, sat in a wide circle, each on a platform customized to their unique physiology. The council had convened to address what they believed to be a trivial matter, a human envoy's request to introduce Earth's pets to the galactic community. Yet as the human diplomat entered the chamber, the atmosphere shifted palpably. Clad in a sleek, understated uniform, the human moved with the quiet confidence of someone who knew they were underestimated. Flanking the diplomat were creatures that immediately drew the attention and the fear of every being in the room. These were no ordinary pets. Towering over the human, the beasts exuded an aura of raw power. Their forms were a terrifying blend of Earth's apex predators, lions, wolves, and bears, each one augmented with cybernetic enhancements. Their eyes glowed with an unnatural, intelligent light, and their movements were unnervingly fluid, as if they were sentient beings rather than mere animals. The largest of the creatures, a monstrous blend of a bear and a wolf, growled lowly, the sound reverberating through the chamber like the rumble of a distant thunderstorm. The alien leaders, beings who had seen and survived wars that spanned solar systems, felt an unfamiliar chill run down their spines. Some recoiled visibly, others whispered urgently to their aides, their voices tinged with fear. They had heard tales of human ingenuity, of their resilience and adaptability, but this was beyond anything they had imagined. The human diplomat stopped in the center of the chamber, a calm smile playing on their lips as they watched the council members struggle to mask their terror. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," the human began, their voice echoing confidently in the vast hall, "these are the pets of Earth." The word hung in the air, and the council members stared in disbelief. The human continued, "We understand that many of you view humanity as a young, naive species, and perhaps even weak in comparison to your advanced civilizations. But we have learned to survive on a planet where we are not the strongest, not the fastest, and often not the most dangerous. So we adapted. These creatures represent not just our survival, but our ability to harness and enhance the natural world. They are the guardians of our people, the defenders of our home, and a symbol of what we can achieve." As the human spoke, the pets remained eerily still, their eyes scanning the room as if assessing each alien for any threat. The tension in the room was palpable. The council members, who had once dismissed the humans as inconsequential, now realized the true extent of the threat they posed. The human paused, letting the weight of their words and the presence of their beasts sink in. "We do not seek conflict," the diplomat said, "but we will not shy away from it if necessary. The galaxy is a dangerous place, and we have come prepared." With that, the human took a step back, and the largest of the creatures moved forward, its metallic claws clicking ominously against the floor. The council chamber, usually a place of calm deliberation, was now charged with an undercurrent of fear and respect. The human diplomat had not just introduced Earth's pets, they had made a statement, one that echoed throughout the galaxy. Humanity was not to be underestimated. The Galactic Council, once so sure of their place in the universe, now had to reckon with a new power, one that had turned the concept of pet into a symbol of dominance and control. As the human diplomat stepped back, the Galactic Council chamber fell into a heavy silence, each council member grappling with the implications of what they had just witnessed. The creatures that stood before them, Earth's so-called pets, were unlike anything they had ever encountered. An embodiment of raw power, enhanced by human ingenuity, and controlled with an ease that was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. The human diplomat allowed the silence to stretch, knowing that the council members needed time to fully absorb the shock. The largest of the beasts, the cybernetically enhanced bear-wolf hybrid, remained at the forefront, its glowing eyes sweeping the room as if daring anyone to challenge its presence. One of the council members, a tall, willowy being from the Zoranth species, finally found their voice. "Human," they began, their voice trembling slightly. "These creatures, they are not merely pets, are they? They are weapons, designed to intimidate and destroy." The human diplomat smiled softly, inclining their head in acknowledgement. "They are indeed formidable," the diplomat replied, "but they are also loyal companions, protectors, and symbols of what we, as a species, can accomplish when faced with the need to survive. On Earth, these creatures are part of our everyday lives, helping us maintain order and defend against threats. They are more than just weapons. They are extensions of our will." Another council member, a reptilian figure with scales that shimmered like polished metal, hissed in disbelief. "This is madness! You bring these monsters into our presence and expect us to believe that they are mere pets. This is a clear provocation." The human's expression remained calm, but there was a glint of steel in their eyes. "Provocation?" the diplomat echoed. "No, this is a demonstration. A demonstration of what humanity is capable of should the need arise. We come here in peace, but we do not come unprepared. The galaxy is full of dangers, and we have learned that to survive, we must be able to meet those dangers head-on. These creatures are a testament to our determination to protect our people, our home, and our place in the cosmos." The tension in the chamber thickened as the council members exchanged uneasy glances. The human diplomat's words carried a clear message. Humanity was not just a fledgling species looking to find its way in the galaxy. It was a force to be reckoned with, a species that had turned survival into an art form. The Galactic Council, long accustomed to viewing Earth as an insignificant backwater, now faced the uncomfortable reality that they had grossly underestimated the humans. The diplomat stepped forward once more, their voice steady and commanding. "We did not come here to boast or to threaten. We came here to ensure that humanity's voice is heard and respected in this council. We are willing to cooperate, to share knowledge and resources, but we will not be marginalized or dismissed. These creatures," the diplomat gestured to the beasts, "are a reminder that we are prepared to defend our interests by any means necessary." The council members shifted uneasily, their authority and confidence shaken. For the first time in memory, they were confronted with the possibility that a species they had once considered inferior could actually pose a significant challenge to their dominance. The human diplomat's message was clear. Humanity would not be cowed, and any attempt to undermine them would be met with fierce resistance. The largest of the creatures let out a low, rumbling growl, its eyes fixed on the council members as if sensing their fear. The sound echoed through the chamber, a primal reminder of the power that now stood before them. The council members knew that they could not afford to ignore this new reality. The galaxy was changing, and the humans were no longer content to remain in the shadows. As the meeting drew to a close, the human diplomat offered a final, measured statement. "We look forward to working with the Galactic Council to ensure a future of mutual respect and cooperation. But make no mistake, Earth will not stand idly by while our people's safety and sovereignty are threatened. We are ready for whatever comes next." With that, the human turned and led their creatures out of the chamber, the beasts moving with a grace and power that left an indelible impression on the council members. The doors closed behind them, leaving the chamber in a silence that was thick with unspoken tension. The council members sat in stunned silence, each grappling with the same thought: the galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity had arrived, and they had brought with them a power that could not be ignored. The Galactic Council, once so sure of their place in the universe, now faced a future where Earth's influence, and its terrifying pets, could reshape the very fabric of galactic order. As the heavy doors of the Galactic Council chamber closed behind the human diplomat and their formidable entourage, the silence within was palpable, charged with the weight of new realities that had just been thrust upon the gathered council members. The ornate chamber, once a place of assured authority and stability, now felt small and vulnerable, overshadowed by the sheer audacity and strength that the humans had displayed. The council members, representatives of some of the most powerful species in the galaxy, found themselves grappling with an unsettling realization. The humans once considered an unremarkable species from a distant corner of the galaxy, had risen to become a force that could no longer be dismissed or contained. The Zoranth representative, whose earlier voice had trembled, now sat motionless, their elongated fingers drumming lightly against the polished surface of the table. Their usually serene features were marred by an expression of deep contemplation. "We underestimated them," they finally whispered, breaking the silence that had settled over the room like a thick fog. "We dismissed them as insignificant, and now they stand before us with power we did not anticipate." The reptilian council member, still seething from the earlier exchange, hissed in agreement. "Their arrogance is infuriating, but we cannot deny what we have seen. Those creatures, those abominations, are unlike anything in our arsenal, and the humans control them with ease, as if they are nothing more than trained pets." The council member's voice dripped with a mix of fear and resentment. "What else are they hiding? What other weapons or technologies have they developed in secret while we remained ignorant?" Across the table, a being from the aquatic world of Calithos, whose translucent skin shimmered with bioluminescence, leaned forward. Their voice was calm but laced with concern. "We must approach this with caution. The humans have shown us their strength, but they have also extended a hand of cooperation. If we respond with hostility, we risk pushing them further down a path of militarization. But if we engage them as equals, perhaps we can find a way to harness their potential for the greater good of the galaxy." A murmur of agreement rippled through the chamber, though it was clear that the council members were far from unified in their opinions. The memory of the human diplomat's parting words lingered, a reminder that Earth would not be content with anything less than respect and recognition. The galaxy's power dynamics were shifting, and the council members knew they had to act swiftly and decisively if they were to navigate this new landscape. The head of the council, a venerable being whose wisdom had guided the assembly through countless crises, finally spoke. Their voice, though calm, carried the weight of authority and experience. "We must convene a special session to discuss our next steps. The humans have made their intentions clear, and we cannot afford to miscalculate our response. We must seek dialogue, but we must also prepare for the possibility that they may not be as cooperative as they claim. We have seen their power, and we must ensure that it does not become a threat to the stability of the galaxy." The council members nodded in agreement, though the tension in the room remained palpable. As they began to discuss the logistics of the upcoming session, it was clear that the future of the Galactic Council and the galaxy itself was now uncertain. The humans had disrupted the established order, and the repercussions of this disruption would be felt for years, if not centuries, to come. Meanwhile, aboard the human vessel that had transported the diplomat and their pets to the Galactic Council, there was a sense of quiet satisfaction. The mission had gone exactly as planned, and the seeds of doubt and fear had been successfully planted in the minds of the galaxy's most powerful leaders. The diplomat, now free from the constraints of diplomacy, allowed themselves a small smile. They knew that the council members would be deliberating for days, perhaps weeks, trying to figure out how to respond to the demonstration they had just witnessed. But the humans had no intention of waiting for the council's decision. Plans were already in motion, alliances being forged, and new technologies being tested. Earth was preparing for the future, one where they would not only be a part of the galactic community, but a leader within it. The diplomat looked at the creatures that had accompanied them, the so-called pets that had struck fear into the hearts of the council members. These creatures, a blend of Earth's most powerful predators and cutting-edge technology, were just the beginning. Humanity's potential was limitless, and they were just beginning to tap into it. As the ship glided silently through the stars, the diplomat knew that the galaxy was on the cusp of a new era, one shaped by human innovation, determination, and, if necessary, force. The council members would have to adapt to this new reality, or they would find themselves left behind, relics of an old order that no longer held sway. The diplomat turned their gaze to the stars, a determined glint in their eyes. The future belonged to humanity, and nothing would stand in their way. The ship's hum resonated with the quiet determination of its crew as it streaked through the void of space, bound for Earth. Inside, the diplomat, still deep in thought, considered the broader implications of what had just transpired at the Galactic Council. The tension between the Council's fear and humanity's resolve was not just a political struggle, it was a harbinger of a potential galactic shift, one that could alter the balance of power forever. Back on Earth, preparations were already underway. The demonstration at the Galactic Council was only the first step in a carefully crafted strategy to secure humanity's place among the stars. High above the planet, the orbiting stations buzzed with activity as engineers and scientists worked around the clock. New technologies were being developed, defensive systems enhanced, and fleets of ships constructed at a pace that astonished even the most optimistic planners. The lessons learned from humanity's turbulent history on Earth had taught them well. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best, and never underestimate the potential of your adversary. On the surface, within the sprawling complexes of Earth's military command, discussions were intense and unrelenting. Generals, admirals, and political leaders pored over data, projections, and intelligence reports. The creatures that had caused such a stir at the Council, Earth's pets, were the result of decades of secretive research, blending the biological ferocity of Earth's apex predators with the precision and adaptability of advanced AI. These beings were not just weapons, they were symbols of human ingenuity, the embodiment of a philosophy that had driven humanity to the stars, adapt, evolve, and thrive. The diplomatic mission had been a success, but it had also revealed the fragility of the galactic order. The Council's reaction had shown that the galaxy was not as stable as it appeared. Beneath the veneer of unity and cooperation lay a web of rivalries, fears, and ambitions that could easily unravel if pushed too hard. And humanity, with its newfound strength, was in a position to do just that. But with power came responsibility. The leaders of Earth knew that the road ahead was fraught with peril. The Council members were not the only ones watching. Other species, some allies, others potential enemies, were observing humanity's rise with a mixture of awe and trepidation. How they would react in the coming months and years was uncertain. Would they seek alliance or confrontation? Would they view humanity as a partner in progress or a threat to their existence? As the diplomat's ship approached Earth, they reflected on the choices that lay ahead. The demonstration had been a statement of intent, but it was only the beginning. To secure humanity's future, they would need to navigate a complex landscape of diplomacy, warfare, and technology. They would need to build alliances with those who understood the value of cooperation and be prepared to defend themselves against those who would rather see humanity crushed before it could fully emerge as a galactic power. The diplomats' thoughts turned to the creatures that had accompanied them, the pets that had caused such fear among the Council members. They were a powerful symbol, yes, but also a reminder of the thin line humanity walked between progress and destruction. These beings were capable of unimaginable violence, but they were also tools of survival, crafted to ensure that humanity could stand against any threat, no matter how formidable. As the ship entered Earth's atmosphere, the diplomat prepared themselves for the debriefing that awaited. There would be questions, analysis, and decisions to be made, but beneath it all, there was a sense of momentum, a feeling that humanity was on the brink of something unprecedented. They had shown the galaxy a glimpse of their potential, and now they needed to follow through, to turn that potential into reality. On the ground, as the ship touched down, the diplomat was greeted by a flurry of activity. Military officials, scientists, and political leaders awaited their report. The mood was one of cautious optimism, tempered by the recognition of the challenges that lay ahead. The diplomat stepped forward, ready to share the details of their mission, to outline the next steps in humanity's ascent. And so, the gears of Earth's vast machinery of progress continued to turn. Across the planet, in labs, factories, and training grounds, humanity prepared for the future. The creatures that had so shocked the Galactic Council were only the beginning. New technologies, new strategies, and new alliances were in the works. Humanity was not just surviving, it was thriving, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. In the coming months, the galaxy would witness the full extent of humanity's ambitions. They would see a species that had risen from the ashes of its own conflicts to become a force to be reckoned with. The council members would have to choose, embrace the new reality, and work with humanity to build a brighter future, or resist and face the consequences. As night fell on Earth, the stars above twinkled with the promise of endless possibilities. The diplomat, looking up at the sky, knew that humanity's journey was just beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of wonders and dangers alike, but with determination, ingenuity, and the strength of their convictions, humans would carve out a place for themselves among the stars. As the stars sparkled in the night sky, Earth's leaders gathered in a vast underground command center, its walls adorned with screens displaying real-time data from every corner of the globe and beyond. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation, a charged silence that spoke to the gravity of the moment. The diplomat who had returned from the Galactic Council stood at the head of a long table flanked by generals, scientists, and political strategists. The debriefing was about to begin, and all eyes were on the diplomat as they prepared to recount the events that had unfolded in the distant reaches of the galaxy. The diplomat began with a measured tone, detailing the Council's initial reactions to humanity's presence and the reveal of their so-called pets. The room remained still, the tension building as the diplomat described the fear and shock that had rippled through the Council chamber. The diplomat's voice grew firmer as they recounted the Council's demands and veiled threats, highlighting the precarious position humanity now occupied on the galactic stage. As the diplomat spoke, the screens around the room flickered, displaying images of the Council members, varied and alien, each representing a different species with its own unique strengths and vulnerabilities. The Galactic Council was a powerful entity, but it was also divided, its members bound together more by necessity than by true unity. This division, the diplomat pointed out, was both a challenge and an opportunity for humanity. The room's attention then shifted to the pets, the genetically engineered creatures that had caused such a stir. As the diplomat described their capabilities, the screens displayed footage of these beings in action. Sleek, powerful, and deadly. They moved with a fluidity and precision that bordered on the unnatural. But they were more than just weapons. They were a testament to human ingenuity, the result of years of research and experimentation aimed at creating the perfect balance between organic and artificial intelligence. The diplomat paused, allowing the weight of their words to settle in. The creatures were a symbol of humanity's resolve, but they also represented a moral quandary. What did it mean to create beings for the sole purpose of warfare? How far was humanity willing to go in its quest for survival? These were questions that would need to be addressed. But for now, the focus was on the immediate future. As the debriefing continued, the discussion turned to strategy. The diplomat outlined the various scenarios that could unfold in the wake of the Council's reaction. Would the Council attempt to isolate humanity, cutting them off from trade and alliances? Or would they seek to undermine Earth's position through covert means, perhaps by inciting other species to act against them? The possibilities were numerous, and each required a different response. The generals and strategists in the room began to speak, their voices blending into a symphony of tactical considerations. Plans were proposed and debated, each one dissected for its strengths and weaknesses. The room buzzed with the energy of minds working at full capacity, each individual contributing their expertise to the collective effort. Meanwhile, the scientists present were already thinking ahead, considering the next steps in the development of humanity's defenses and technologies. These were only the beginning. There were other avenues of research to explore, other enhancements to pursue. The goal was clear, to ensure that humanity could not only survive, but thrive in the face of any threat. As the meeting stretched into the night, a consensus began to form. The strategy would be twofold. First, to strengthen Earth's defenses and ensure that any attempt to challenge humanity's sovereignty would be met with overwhelming force. Second, to engage in a campaign of diplomacy aimed at building alliances with those species within the Council who might be sympathetic to humanity's cause. The Council was not monolithic. There were factions within it that could be swayed, given the right incentives. The diplomat, having delivered their report, now stepped back to listen as the plans were finalized. There was a sense of urgency in the room, but also a quiet confidence. Humanity had faced existential threats before. On Earth, they had weathered wars, plagues, and natural disasters. They had risen from the brink time and time again, each challenge only serving to make them stronger. This was no different, just another test in a long history of trials. Outside, dawn was breaking, the first rays of sunlight piercing the darkness. As the meeting came to a close, Earth's leaders dispersed, each returning to their respective roles, ready to implement the strategies they had devised. The diplomat, exhausted but resolute, took a moment to step outside, gazing up at the brightening sky. The future was uncertain, fraught with dangers and opportunities alike. But one thing was clear: humanity would not be cowed. They had shown the galaxy a glimpse of what they were capable of, and now they would back it up with action. The Galactic Council had been right to be afraid, for humanity was a force unlike any the galaxy had ever seen, resilient, adaptable, and unyielding. As the day began in earnest, the diplomat turned away from the sky and walked back into the command center, ready to face the challenges ahead. The story of humanity's rise was far from over. In fact, it was only just beginning. The galaxy would soon learn that Earth was not a planet to be trifled with, and its people not to be underestimated. Whatever came next, humanity would be ready with the full might of their intelligence, creativity, and determination at their disposal. The command center was now a hive of activity, with every corner buzzing with the hum of preparation. Earth's leaders, scientists, and military strategists moved with purpose, each one playing a critical role in the unfolding plans. The stakes had never been higher, and the collective resolve was palpable. In the days that followed the debriefing, the first phase of the strategy was set into motion. Earth's defense systems were augmented with new technologies derived from the very pets that had startled the Galactic Council. These enhancements included advanced AI-controlled drones, capable of rapid deployment and adaptive combat strategies, and bioengineered defensive organisms that could withstand harsh environments and serve as living fortresses. The scientific community worked around the clock, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. In secret laboratories scattered across the planet, researchers fine-tuned the genetic codes of the pets, enhancing their abilities even further. These creatures were now equipped with neural interfaces that allowed them to operate in perfect sync with human commanders, creating a level of coordination that was almost telepathic. But it wasn't just about fortifying Earth's defenses. Diplomats and intelligence operatives were dispatched to the far reaches of the galaxy, their mission clear: to find and secure alliances with other species who might share humanity's concerns about the Council's growing power. These envoys brought with them not only offers of mutual defense, but also promises of technological exchange and economic cooperation. The goal was to build a coalition strong enough to counterbalance the Galactic Council's influence. Back on Earth, preparations were being made for a public address, a rare occurrence that would see the world's leaders speak directly to humanity. The message was one of unity and determination. They would explain the gravity of the situation and the steps being taken to ensure the safety of every person on the planet. The speech would be broadcast to every corner of the globe, rallying the people behind the cause and ensuring that they were ready for whatever might come. When the day of the address arrived, the world watched with bated breath. The leaders stood side by side, a united front against the uncertainties that lay ahead. As the cameras rolled, they spoke of the challenges humanity faced and the resolve with which they would meet them. There was no sugarcoating of the situation, no empty promises of easy victories. Instead, there was a clear and honest articulation of the path forward, one that would require sacrifice, ingenuity, and, above all, unity. The response was overwhelming. Across the planet, people took to the streets in a show of solidarity. Flags were waved, songs were sung, and a sense of collective purpose spread like wildfire. In every city and town, citizens volunteered to support the war effort in any way they could. Factories retooled to produce weapons and equipment, and young men and women lined up to join the military, eager to defend their world. As Earth mobilized, the diplomats sent to the far corners of the galaxy began to report back. Their missions had been difficult, fraught with challenges and dangers, but progress was being made. Several species, long marginalized by the Council, had agreed to join the coalition. These new allies brought with them unique technologies and knowledge, further strengthening the growing alliance. Yet, as the coalition formed, so too did the opposition. The Galactic Council was not blind to Earth's actions, and their response was swift. Diplomatic channels were closed and sanctions were imposed. Trade routes were disrupted, and attempts were made to isolate Earth from the rest of the galaxy. But humanity had anticipated this response, and contingency plans were already in place. As tensions escalated, Earth's leaders knew that a confrontation was inevitable. They prepared for the worst, but they also held on to the hope that diplomacy might still prevail. Secret communications were sent to the Council, offering terms for a peaceful resolution. The message was clear: humanity sought only to defend itself and its allies, not to conquer or subjugate. But if forced to fight, they would do so with all the might and determination that had carried them through centuries of struggle. Weeks turned into months, and the galaxy held its breath. The uneasy silence was broken only by the occasional skirmish on the fringes of controlled space. These encounters were small, almost insignificant in the grand scheme of things, but they were harbingers of the larger conflict to come. Then, without warning, the Council made its move. A fleet of warships, larger and more advanced than any humanity had ever faced, appeared on the outskirts of the solar system. They had come to test Earth's resolve, to see if the stories of human defiance were true. The first clash was brutal. The Council's ships, equipped with technology far beyond anything humanity had encountered, tore through Earth's outer defenses with terrifying efficiency. But humanity was not caught off guard. The enhanced pets were deployed in response, their advanced neural interfaces allowing them to counter the Council's tactics with speed and precision. The battle raged for hours, each side testing the other's limits. Earth's forces were outnumbered and outgunned, but they fought with a tenacity that the Council had not expected. The pets, once seen as mere curiosities, proved to be the linchpin of the defense, their actions coordinated with a level of precision that bordered on the supernatural. In the end, the Council was forced to retreat. Earth's defenses had held, but the victory was costly. Ships were lost and lives were sacrificed. But the message was clear: humanity would not be so easily conquered. As the Council's fleet limped away, Earth's leaders regrouped. The battle had been won, but the war was far from over. The coalition continued to grow, new allies joining the cause with each passing day. The technology developed in Earth's secret labs advanced at a rapid pace, with new weapons and defenses being rolled out almost as quickly as they could be conceived. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, and they were now paying the price. What had begun as a simple confrontation had escalated into a full-blown conflict, one that would reshape the very fabric of galactic politics. The Galactic Council, once seen as an unassailable power, was now facing the reality of its own hubris. But even as the war raged on, Earth's leaders remained committed to finding a peaceful solution. They knew that the destruction of the Council would not bring lasting peace, only a new set of challenges and power struggles. The goal was not to replace one hegemony with another, but to create a new order where all species could coexist in peace and mutual respect. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the conflict continued to ebb and flow. Battles were fought, alliances were tested, and the future of the galaxy hung in the balance. But through it all, humanity stood firm, united in their determination to secure a future for themselves and their allies. In the end, it was not a single battle or a decisive victory that brought the war to a close, but a series of negotiations and compromises. The Galactic Council, battered and weakened, agreed to a new treaty that recognized the sovereignty of Earth and its allies. The war had taken its toll on both sides, but it had also brought about a new understanding, one that would shape the galaxy for generations to come. As the treaty was signed and the war officially ended, Earth began the long process of rebuilding. The scars of the conflict were deep, but the resolve of its people was unbroken. They had faced the greatest challenge in their history and emerged stronger for it. The story of humanity's rise would be told for centuries, a tale of resilience, ingenuity, and determination. The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson. Humanity was not to be underestimated, and their spirit was unyielding. As the stars shone down on a new era of peace, Earth looked to the future with hope and confidence, ready to face whatever challenges might come next.